Okay, right. I'm going to be reading a story with you today. And we have got The First Hippo on the Moon. And it's by an author called David Walliams. Now, I'm sure some of you might know who that is. He's a judge on Britain's Got Talent, if you've ever watched that. And he also writes lots of children's books now as well. Okay, so this is the tale of two hippos. Two hippos with one dream, to be the very first hippo on the moon. So this one looks like he's ready, he's got his suit on, but this one looks a little bit sad over here. One enormously rich hippo, Hercules Waldorf Franklin III, paid for a gigantic hippo space centre to be built to blast him there. Sheila didn't. Yes, the other hippopotamus name was Sheila. One morning she announced, "I want to be the first hippo on the moon." "But Sheila," said her giraffe friend, "you don't have a space rocket." "Then we'll make one," Sheila replied. Yes, the giraffe's name was Keith. Us hippos like to dream big. I want you to think now, what perhaps could you make a rocket out of if you were living in the jungle like this hippo? What might you make your rocket out of? Sheila's friends got to work building her a rocket. "Quick, as you can." "Well, you could help me, dear." And there's two little animals down here trying to help. Tina the elephant brought back the biggest tree trunk she could find. Joyce the gorilla fetched the longest vine. And Derek the ostrich was given the task of gathering the pongiest mountain of rhinoceros dung. Dung's like poo, okay? After many days and nights, the animals finally unveiled their space rocket. I wonder if any of yours were these materials you thought of. Well, something that looked a bit like a space rocket, a tiny bit. "Thank you, friend. It's my very own hippo rocket." All they needed to do now was ignite the rhino dung and blast Sheila into space. But how? Try rubbing those two spiky thingy gummy bobs together to create a spark. Because often when you rub things together like a rock, usually rocks or sticks, it can create fire to blast the rocket up. Instructed the hippopotamus. "Well, thank you very much, dear." "Okay, let's go," Sheila announced. "Is your bottom hot too?" "It's boiling, dear." And that's the two that had their bottoms rubbed together. "Dream big, everyone." 3, 2, 1, blast. But Sheila could say off. But before Sheila could say off, it started raining. It rained and it rained and it rained. And it was the rainy season. It didn't stop raining for 5 long months. In parts of the world, there's this thing called the rainy season, and it rains for a very, very long time. The moment the rain stopped, Sheila began her countdown again. 3, 2, 1, blast off! The hippopotamo rocket shot up into the sky. Zoom! I wonder how Sheila was feeling when she was up there now, because she's all on her own now. Have a think. The hippopotamus watched as the earth became smaller and smaller, and the moon became bigger and bigger. But in deep space, disaster struck. Sheila was so busy munching on her shrub sandwiches that she didn't spot what was hurtling towards her. A giant asteroid. Now, if we look at Sheila's face, have a think about how she could be feeling at the moment. The hippopotamo rocket smashed into hundreds of pieces, sending the shocked hippopotamus spinning wildly through space. She tumbled towards the moon and boom! Wonder where she landed. To her astonishment, Sheila had landed on top of the other hippopotamus, just as he was taking his very first step on the moon's surface. I am terribly sorry. Excuse me. What on earth, I mean the moon, are you doing here? I wanted to be the first hippopotamus on the moon. Well, you're not. I am Hercules Waldorf Franklin III. Remember that name, the name of the first hippopotamus on the moon. And remember, that was the first hippopotamus who got that big centre to build his rocket. Okay. Can't we both be the first hippopotamus on the moon? No, just look at you. Call yourself a hippopotastronaut. You don't even have a hippo spacesuit or a hippo buggy. Get back in your hippo rocket and buzz off now. Oh, I wonder how Sheila's feeling now. Have a think. And I wonder why he might be demanding that, telling her to do those things. With a tear in her eye, Sheila trudged off to the hippopotamus rocket. Her big dream had been crushed. As the engines roared, Hercules Waldorf Franklin III bounded towards it. Stop! That's my hippopotamus rocket. Oops, sorry. Blast off. I wonder if Sheila meant to get in his rocket. Seconds later, Sheila realised that she didn't actually have a clue how the hippopotamus rocket worked. Roar! Entering the Earth's atmosphere, the hippopotamus rocket soon began burning up. Within moments, the hippopotamus's bottom was blazing like the sun. Sheila hit the Earth with a giant wallop. She lay motionless, which means just laid there without moving, on the ground, her bountiful behind sizzling like a sausage. So her bottom. Sheila, wake up! Oh, it's sad, isn't it? Tragic, dear. But she wouldn't wake up. This was the saddest day the jungle had ever seen. Then out of the silence came a sound. Pfft, the distinct sound of a bottom burp. All the animals stared at each other. Who would dream of letting one go at such a sad time? Pfft. Another one, longer and louder than the first. It was Sheila. What's that awful smell? Oh yes, it's made my eyes water. Try and breathe through your mouth, dear. The hippopotamus was thunderous. She woke herself up. Now Sheila was famous all over the world as the very first hippopotamus on the moon. And here she is driving on a bus and everyone's cheering her. Dream big. She never mentioned the other hippopotamus who got there first. So whatever you do, please don't tell anyone. And that hippopotamus, look, is still on the moon. So I want you to have a think about whether what Sheila did was kind to leave him there, or was it not? What would you have done if that was you?